Hello, my dear subscribers and viewers, it's me again, and today I'm going to answer one of the questions asked in the comments to my videos, and that was about experiencing different cultures and visiting different countries. Of course, I've been to different countries and experienced different cultures, but I didn't only have a chance to experience cultural differences from the outside, I had a chance to experience them from the inside, living in families, studying in a country, and letting these differences change me as a personality from the inside. The first thing that you notice when you are in a foreign country, that everything is different. I don't mean only language, but the surroundings, and these differences melt in one huge, powerful flow that brings you in a different world, and you just understand that you are in a different world. I've visited Germany, Italy, Turkey. I'm going to visit Armenia. I had a chance to study in England and to live in a family. All these countries are different. The first thing that I noticed when I came to England, that there are no fences anywhere. I decided to make this video outside of the house for you to understand what I'm talking about. I'm in the Russian countryside now, and almost all the countryside looks like this in Russia. There are fences almost everywhere. You can see kind of a fence behind me between courtyards, and if I go over there, if you let me do that, you can see fences. All the Russian courtyards are fenced. I think from bad people, or something like that, or bad spirits, evil spirits. There are daffodils over there, and almost against the sky you can see gas pipes everywhere. There are no gas pipes, for example, in England. These are small differences, but when you come to a different country, it strikes you that it is different. Well, even a gas pipe is missing. Where is a gas pipe? But they do have gas, don't they? And you enter a house and see that they have gas pipes as well, but they are under the ground. Another difference that you notice is in a family that you start to live in. I started to live in a family in Great Britain. It was just a normal family of 4 people, a mother, a father, a daughter, and a son of almost my age. Well, first of all, I noticed that tradition is very important to English people. They had a clock that chimed almost every hour at night, and it disturbed me. I couldn't sleep. After several nights, I said, could you just stop this thing chiming every night? I can't sleep. And they said, no, it's a breach. It has never been stopped. And I understood that something that isn't done is never done. They said that they had dishes that were never used because they were presented to a wedding day as a wedding present to a grandmother. They never breached traditions in a family. Maybe at some points they would do that, but they cherish traditions very, very dearly. The next thing that you notice is that the way of life is different. I saw English women cooking, and I've cooked dinner. It was said with such an air. I've cooked dinner. The dinner is ready. Come, we are going to have a dinner together. And I came to the kitchen and I expected a real dinner. But I understood that women in England are not very keen to cook dinners themselves. It was just a pizza put in an oven for several minutes to warm, and we had that dinner together. There were dinners that were like sausages or something very easy, mashed potatoes or something like that, and it was cooked as well, said with such an air as if it took too much effort to do that. If a Russian woman, for example, says that she's going to cook a dinner, it will be some soup, some meat, some vegetables, some salad, and something to drink as well. So it will be a cooked dinner. We don't give such airs to something that is very easy and done in a twinkle of an eye, for example. The third difference that I noticed in a family is that the attitude to elderly people is different from that in Russia or from that in Armenia, for example, or some Caucasian countries. Not to speak of some Caucasian countries, of course, because I asked my hostess, I don't want to call names, but I asked my hostess, "Where is your mom?" She said, "No, sorry." One evening she came home and said, "Well, I'm late today. I had to visit my mom." And I asked, "Where is she?" And she said, "She's in a rest house." I was surprised. "Did you let your mother to go to a rest house?" "Yes, but why?" Because for a Russian person, it's kind of a shock. To let your parents go to a retirement retirement home, is like letting your children go somewhere when they are little, to an orphanage, orphan house or something like this. It's out of your thoughts most of the time, because you think about your parents and you can't imagine them being somewhere away from you. You imagine their old age being spent with you, and that you care for them, and you bring tea for them, and you bring medicines, and you do everything, and you take pleasure in that, because these are your parents. All I had to say to that was like, "How could you? Why did you do that?" And she said, "Well, I have my own family. I have my own family to care for. I have my job. I have my duties. I have many things to do. I don't have enough time to take care of my mother." At that time, I had such a thought that I don't want to give birth to children in a country when they would let me to go to a retirement home in the end. It would have been a shock to me. But these are the differences in mentality that I couldn't accept. I asked my friends in Caucasian countries whether they could do that or couldn't do that, and they said no, no, and no. Maybe this is because the differences in the surroundings, in the way retirement homes are set in Russia and in England. But however good this house may be, you are not with your family after all. I think that must be depressing. Maybe English people will comment my video and say that it is not. But these are the differences in mentality that are unacceptable to my family and to me, and I want my children to take care about me when I'm old. There were good differences in mentality as well that I miss when I'm here, that struck me as something unpleasant when I returned to Russia. These are the differences in politeness. English people are really very, very polite. And that's not an exaggeration, it's truth. I was so cherished, so to say, by this politeness. I became so touchy and so used to that politeness, but that it got on my nerves when I returned to Russia, and I understood that I felt again that here people behave differently. I will show you what I mean. One evening I returned from the center, and a teacher, my supervisor, told me that my lesson was bad that day. And I was disappointed because I'd put much effort in that lesson. I had a plan. I did everything I could as I thought. But she said it could have been better. Well, being disappointed, I went home, and the family I lived in started to ask, what was the matter? What happened? What was your day like? How did you spend it? And they kept asking questions until I felt better. I had an assignment that night to do, and I didn't sleep all night. In the morning, I had a huge cup of coffee, and I went to the center again, and I was in a bad mood. I took a bus, and I was like moody, very, very tired, and a simple driver, when I went out, he wished, have a good day, have a nice day, cheer up, and something like that. And he wished a good day to everybody who left that bus. And almost every driver did that. I understand that maybe all these drivers didn't care a straw what you feel inside. But it was so pleasant that he wished to have a good day to everybody that I cheered up immediately. And after a very difficult day before, after enormously difficult, unimaginably difficult night before that, I had a chance to cheer up. I went to the center, I went to my supervisor and told her, well, next time I will do this and this and these things differently, and it will be better. And in the evening, we had to teach lessons in the evening. I had another lesson, and that lesson was better than the previous one. And that lesson was better only thanks to people who treated me well during the day, during the evening, and I was glad for that. And when I returned to Russia, and I tried to take a minibus, there were very many people in this bus, and they kept rubbing against you, pushing, shouting, trying to push through the crowd and to shout at you when you just stand and they push you and then shout at you. It's just put my teeth on edge. I didn't know what to do and what to say. I was just disgusted. When I left Russia, before studying in England, I didn't feel it like that. Then I felt it like that. There are differences in communication between people in the street. I was standing with a map, trying to find something, I remember, and a person came to me and asked whether I needed help or not. They were all very keen to show me the way, to help me to read something, to find something, and they often accompanied me to the place that I needed. I didn't even have to ask. And in Russia, you may stand and stand and stand for hours with a map, and very few people will come to help you. When I had a visitor, a friend from England, she said to me, and a person in the street came and asked me for help. He asked for a telephone to make a call. She said, well, it is very strange. I asked, what is strange in that? And she said, asking for help. It was before I visited England, and I asked her then, don't English people help other people in the street if these people need that? She said, very, very often, but it's not uncommon to help. It's uncommon in England to ask for help. And now I understand why. Because you don't have to ask for help. They will help you just because they see that you need help. That changed me as a personality completely. And whatever way people choose to answer for my help now, I continue to help people as much as I can. And it will be the same in the future, I hope. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have any questions about differences in cultures, about differences in education, in the way people teach in England and in Russia, or some other question about cultural differences in other countries, please do ask. Goodbye. See you next time.